Can we talk with Jewel? When children become weapons.
Can we talk? Tonight, we're talking about something very dear to my heart as a parent, children, and what happens when vulnerable children become targets for exploitation, trafficking, or financial gain. Child trafficking is real. Child exploitation is real. Online grooming is real. And children can be watched, monitored, and manipulated by adults who use fear, assault, money, attention, threats, or emotional control. But tonight, we're also going to discuss something that requires careful investigation. Allegations involving secretive or occult groups, organized exploitation, children allegedly being used as instruments in criminal activity, and claims involving organ harvesting. An allegation is not a fact simply because someone says it happened. We follow the evidence. Many people imagine trafficking as a stranger kidnapping a child, but exploitation can develop through grooming and manipulation. Someone may offer attention, gifts, transportation, money, protection, or friendship. Child trafficking can occur within family units or close support networks. In these instances, family members or stress, substance dependencies may sell trade coercion within high-control environments. Severe psychological barriers to reporting, as the exploitation is framed as normal family obligation, obedience, or survival. Eventually, that relationship can become controlling. The child may be threatened, isolated, blackmailed, or convinced nobody will believe them. And trafficking doesn't necessarily require someone to be trained across state or international borders. Parents and loved ones should pay attention to sudden behavioral changes, unexplained extra money or gifts, reports of extreme monitoring and harassment, secretive online relationships, offshore accounts, unexplained absences, fear of a particular person's, or someone demanding secrecy and solitude. But warning signs are not proof of trafficking. They are reasons to ask questions and seek appropriate help. This is where I ask a very simple investigative question. Where is the money? Who benefits? Who receives payments? Who controls the accounts? Are there suspicious financial transactions? Are there unexplained transfers? Are there fraudulent documents? Are there communications connecting people together? Criminal organizations can leave financial footprints. That's why documentation matters. If you believe a child is being exploited, preserve court documents, school records, medical documentation, financial records, and a chronological timeline. Don't alter evidence. Don't fabricate evidence. And don't put yourself or a child in danger trying to investigate criminals personally. Report, report, report. When children are weaponized, they get caught directly in the crossfire of adult conflict, coerced to repeat scripts and manipulated for leverage, leaving them exposed to severe criminal activity. They can be used to communicate threats or carry out someone else's agenda. And that's why adults must be extremely careful when interviewing children about suspected abuse. Don't repeatedly interrogate a child. Don't lead them toward an answer. Listen calmly. Strategically remove them from an unsafe environment. Parents, we need to talk. Be aware of anyone secretly trying to offer your children money behind your back.
That's right. Predators use money to build trust, and then they manipulate the child.
So talk to your kids. Let them know to say no and tell you immediately. And involve qualified professionals when appropriate. Now let's address allegations involving occult groups. Survivors and families have made claims over the years involving ritual abuse, secretive organizations, exploitation, and children allegedly being targeted by groups operating covertly. Some claims may warrant investigation, others may remain unverified. So we ask, what evidence exists? Are there court records, police reports, financial records, independent witnesses, digital communications, medical records, multiple sources? Can the evidence be authenticated? Recent interviews conducted with community members have brought forward unverified allegations regarding coordinated child exploitation and organized criminal networks operating across the United States. According to several interviewees, these concerns involve large-scale illicit operations rather than isolated incidents, alleging that structured networks may be receiving compensation for involvement in abductions, stage accidents, and covert abuse. While local and federal law enforcement agencies routinely investigate child exploitation networks, advocacy groups emphasize the need for verifiable evidence when examining claims of organized syndicate activity. Given the alleged scale of participation, sources are now raising questions about whether these operations link to broader human and organ trafficking networks.
This is for the permit. We'll take care of it.
Good doing business.
Because allegations involving minors carry significant risk, child safety advocates stress the critical obligation to report any suspicious activity involving organized networks to law enforcement immediately. That's the difference between investigating a claim and simply repeating it. And when children are involved, we have an obligation to be especially careful. Organ trafficking is a genuine, horrific crime worldwide, but we must not automatically conclude every missing child case or online rumor is evidence of it. Those claims require evidence. A story circulating online is not evidence by itself. A missing child deserves a serious investigation, but investigators must determine what actually happened. Law enforcement, forensic investigators, and human rights oversight bodies monitor specific anomalies to distinguish organ trafficking from typical violent crimes. Because organ extraction requires clinical precision and rapid processing, these homicides leave distinct forensic signatures. Victim vulnerability and execution timelines. Targeted populations, victims are predominantly selected from marginalized groups with weak social safety nets, including refugees, undocumented migrants, occult targets pushed into poverty, unhoused individuals, and impoverished youth, reducing the likelihood of immediate missing persons reports. Medical and surgical physical markers. Professional incisions. Bodies exhibit clean, linear surgical cuts, for example, midline laparotomy or subcostal incisions, rather than chaotic assault wounds. Selective extraction. High-value transplant organs, kidneys, livers, hearts, lungs, corneas, are removed while personal valuables and non-target tissues of professionals and access to resources. When the system fails, what about parents who believe the child protection or family were running abuse and children needing protection? So our question remains, what can actually be proven? When allegations of organized child exploitation and human trafficking surface, public trust relies heavily on the integrity of law enforcement and oversight institutions. Advocates and victims report growing concerns over severe systemic failures. Advocates argue that when local enforcement channels fail to investigate or actively obscure patterns of organized crime, it points to large-scale corruption that prevents victims from exit operations to continue undetected. Despite these significant risks, legal experts and child safety advocates continue to urge victims and witnesses to file formal reports. Documenting incidents creates an undeniable paper trail, making it possible for recurring behavioral patterns and identify systemic anomalies over time. What I know, what my child reported, what someone else reported, what I suspect, what remains unknown. That distinction can make your documentation much stronger. Parents, listen to your children. Protect them. Teach them about online safety. Teach them that they never have to keep dangerous secrets. And if something doesn't feel right, document it and seek appropriate help. But remember, fear is not evidence. An allegation is not a conviction. A rumor is not an investigation. And protecting children requires something stronger than all three. Truth to survivors. Your experiences deserve to be heard. To investigators, follow. To institutions, children are human beings, not case numbers. And to anyone exploiting children, we will continue asking questions. Who benefits? Where is the money? Where is the evidence? And who is protecting the child? This is Can We Talk with Jewel? I'm Jewel Claxton. Protect the children, follow the evidence, expose exploitation, and never stop asking, can we talk?